Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. We are so happy to welcome you to our very first Couples Connects Fireside Chat. With this series, we wanted to create a space where we can strip away the slide decks and the formal presentations and have a real candid conversation about the trends and challenges shaping our industry today. We got a great session lined up for you. Grab a coffee and let's get right into the conversation. I'm Diego Anfossi, Head of Innovation at Copius, and we have Dave Patten, our Principal Architect. Welcome, Dave.
Hi everyone. Thanks for joining.
Awesome. Dave, let me start with this one. If you open LinkedIn or any tech publication right now, it feels like every company is transforming with AI overnight. Boards are asking about it, executives are feeling pressure to use it, and clients are coming to us and saying, we need an AI strategy. Where do we start? I believe there is real urgency, and there's also competitive pressure, and there's also confusion about what's real and what's hype. Many companies feel they're behind, and expectations are often shaped by headlines, not by operational reality. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think the key thing we see with clients is the gap between what's impressive in a demo and what actually works in a production environment. The biggest gap in AI today isn't capability, it's expectations. And just to level set, when most people talk about AI right now, they're really talking about generative AI, language models. This is a bit different from the predictive models companies have been using for years and years, forecasting, recommendations, things like that. Generative AI can interact directly with users through language. And that's why it feels so powerful, but also why expectations get ahead of reality. It can feel like AI is this magic layer you can just plug into any company. But in reality, the organization seeing real results are treating it like any other enterprise system. It has to fit into their data, their tools, and how people actually get work done day to day. And once you start looking at it that way, the gap between hype and reality becomes a lot clearer.
Agree. You know, these viral demos are killing us, man. Not a day passes before Instagram or LinkedIn show me some clip about some guy creating a huge application overnight using AI. And the sad part is that clients are really influenced by the viral demo thing. They fuel executive urgency and fear of missing out. And there's this we need AI everywhere feeling. Have you seen the same that I?
Oh yeah, I think the biggest difference between what people see online and what actually works in an enterprise is everything around the model. AI is absolutely transformative, but the success of these systems doesn't really come from the model itself. It comes from everything around it: architecture, the data, the integrations, the governance, and really the workflow where the AI lives. A demo shows a model giving a great answer, but in a real system, the questions are: where is that data coming from? Who can access it? How reliable is that output? And how does this fit into an existing workflow? That's where things get harder. And honestly, that's where most of the engineering work is. So when companies run a pilot and feel underwhelmed, it's usually not because the model failed. It's because the surrounding system wasn't designed for production. The teams that are getting value are the ones connecting AI to real workflows, support systems, internal tools, knowledge bases, places where people are already doing work. AI works best when it's embedded into a workflow, not sitting next to it.
Agree. So now let me shift to a more positive and practical part of this. We were talking about this the other day. Where are clients actually seeing impact? I'd say test automation, incident triage, monitoring, but actual development, not a big number really. And I think it's because of the human factor. We have teams that started using AI tools and saw drastic reduction of the coding time, but increased time of review, testing, and troubleshooting. So where can AI give you the fastest return? I'd say operational efficiency, reduce support load, and all the parts around the development lifecycle. From the notes and summaries you get in a meeting like this one, to the ability to analyze pull request, or to automate testing, or to manage requirements. So we sometimes think that coding is the core of the process, and truth, at least for me, is it's just one more step. And all of the other steps around it can benefit from AI actually, and maybe faster, provided the conditions are there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, what we're seeing pretty consistently is that the most successful use cases are actually very focused. Things like customer support automation, document processing, or enterprise search, those are working really well because the problem is clear. The data is known and you can measure the outcome. We're also seeing a lot of traction with copilots inside internal tools, like you said, helping developers review and test code, helping teams summarize meetings, helping people find information faster. What all of these have in common is they're not trying to reinvent the company overnight. They're removing friction from something that already exists. And that's usually where AI delivers value the fastest. The highest ROI AI projects are usually the most focused ones.
Awesome. So let me go to another classic in conversation with clients, which is automation versus augmentation. This is a powerful distinction. Some may think that AI replaces work, and that creates industry panic and real concern. Teams worry about job impact, stocks plans, etc. But what we see every day is different. No client of Copius has come and said, I will reduce my teams because I want you to do the same with less people using AI. They are saying, I want my guys to use AI to do more. You talked about this recently in several meetings. How was that?
One of the biggest mindset shifts we're seeing is around the idea of automation versus augmentation. A lot of the early conversations was about AI replacing work, as you mentioned, but in practice, the systems that are actually succeeding are the ones that augment people. They act more like copilots, helping with research, summarizing information, suggesting next steps, trade offs. I do this a lot in architecture design, but a human is still making the decision. It doesn't replace thinking, it accelerates it. The most successful AI systems don't remove humans, they empower them. And that turns out to be really important, not just technically, but culturally. Because when people stay in the loop, trust goes up, adoption goes up, and the system actually gets used.
Agree. But I also wanted to acknowledge that some things are still hard. Like autonomous agents, for me, are still early, despite the hype about them doing everything and all that. Budget and licensing, still not 100% certain. And in the end, we see many internal teams still unsure how AI fits into their work. What are some things you think are already certain, at least technically?
There are definitely areas where the technology is still maturing. Autonomous agents, agentic workflows are a good example. The idea of AI making complex decisions end to end is exciting, but in real environments, it's still hard to manage reliability, accountability, and cost. You have to ask, how do we prove those decisions are correct? Not just once, but continuously. Because without that, it's very hard to trust the system at scale. And then there's integration, which is honestly where most of the real work is. Calling an AI model is easy. Integrating it securely into an enterprise system is where the engineering starts. That means thinking about access control, data governance, monitoring, cost management, all the things that make a system stable and trustworthy over time. The hard part of AI isn't the model, it's the system around it.
That's great. That's great. And before we go to questions, can we go and tell companies willing to move beyond the hype and start doing this right? What's the recommended first step?
If a company wants to move beyond the hype and actually start using AI effectively, the best place is to begin pretty straightforward. Start with one clear problem where AI can remove friction from an existing workflow. Make sure the data behind it is accessible and reliable, just like we did with analytics. The data has to be there. Design the system so humans are still part of the loop, and measure the impact early so you can learn and iterate. The companies that are succeeding right now aren't trying to transform everything at once. They're solving specific problems well and building from there. The companies winning with AI aren't the ones chasing headlines. They're the ones solving real problems.
Awesome. Awesome, Dave. We talked nonstop for 15 minutes, so I want to give the audience the opportunity to make some questions. I think we can take questions both on LinkedIn or Instagram. And let me open this chat window and see what do we get in there. Okay, I have one that says, you mentioned copilots earlier. For companies excited about rolling those out internally, what's something they should be careful about?
Yeah, copilots, they're powerful because they unify access to knowledge. But that's exactly where the risk shows up. For example, before you would access required effort, digging around, knowing where to look, seeing that file, making that decision to open up that spreadsheet. It might have been named 2025 salary and bonus plan. Now natural language exposes everything instantly. So if governance isn't mature, permissions leak, sensitive data becomes discoverable. Copilots don't create new data risks; they expose existing gaps instantly. That's what we're seeing with copilots today. Got to be a little careful. Adopt a little, progressive. Make sure your data governance is in order.
Okay, so I got this other one, and I think it's somehow like a continuation of the previous one. It says, what's one mistake you tell companies to avoid right now when it comes to AI?
I'll reinforce what I said earlier. If I'd pick one, it's trying to apply AI everywhere before really understanding where it fits. We see this a lot. Companies feel the pressure, right? So the instinct is, let's add AI across the board. And what ends up happening is you get a bunch of disconnected experiments that don't really deliver sustained value. So the better approach is to start with a specific problem, like we mentioned earlier, something where there's already friction in workflow, and then ask, can AI meaningfully improve this? AI isn't a strategy, it's a capability, a tool. And if it's not tied to a clear use case with the right data and the right integration, it usually struggles. So the mistake isn't adopting AI, it's adopting it without focus. The teams that are getting real value are the ones being very deliberate about where they apply it.
Got it. Okay, let's give it maybe, I don't know, 30 more seconds to questions.
Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, otherwise we wrap up.
Let's see. Got a few chats here. I'm gonna look around, see if there's any ones. Open chat. Kind of blaze through this.
You guys have my information and Dave's information, so don't be shy. Reach out, send your questions, send your comments, and and we'll effectively try to do better next time. For the time being, I think. Oh, I see another one showed up in a strange window.
Here's
Oh,
one for
yeah.
you, Diego. Companies are interchangeably confusing AI with agents. Can you please elaborate on this form of value perspective? What do you think, Diego?
So yeah, and I'll let you help me, Dave. What I'd say is that we've been using for the last maybe 2 years, we've been using terms interchangeably with total freedom and made a mess. But I mean, basically, AI is the bigger landscape of whatever is done emulating intelligence from the silicon part of the world, from computers. And agents are actually a very concrete artifact that is something that you can relate to the old school definition of a program, always running and always looking for things to do. And they will do whatever you told them to do with the data you allow them to look at and with the interactions that you allow to. So there's a whole thing around permissions and things you let an agent do that is very sensitive and very critical. And all the terror stories that you see on social media about agents going crazy are just basically lack of knowledge about how to set those permissions, because any program written like 50 years ago in the first development language could do the same if we let them run all day and access whatever. So I think that's the key definition. And you know what I mean? I'm sorry to say that the agents term is also part of the hype, because I mean, if I give you a traditional program written 20 years ago with a cron job that runs all time, I mean, it will be pretty difficult to distinguish that to a modern agent. I mean, the agent will use all the AI stuff that we've been talking about, but the basic concept. Well, what would you say, Dave?
Oh, for me, yeah, AI, I put it in two buckets: the old school predictive AI and the new gen AI, large language models, small language models, video language models. And then agents are, yeah, that program around that's interacting with the model. So we call them agent harnesses now. And an agent will, this is where you get into context engineering, your prompting. It has memory, skills, and it is the one interacting with the agent over time, long horizon agents. Some of those could be coding agents, some of those could be workflow agents, but you have to be very careful on the workflow where it's making decisions. And that's where we're kind of leaning into the eval-driven agent development flows, where we need to make sure we can verify correctness. Is the agent doing what it's supposed to do? Is it 100% accurate? Obviously, when we're dealing with non-deterministic models, you got to have some testing around there so you can get high accuracy. So me and agent, yeah, as a program, it's interacting with the model using context, memory, skills. One thing we've seen with agents is a flip recently. We used to build very specialized agents, and now that we have agent skills as a pattern, we flip that to have generalized agents adopting skills and then becoming specialized. So that's a little pattern that we've been seeing switch in the industry in the last few months. What do we got? For recent graduates trying to build their skills to remain relevant in today's market, where should they focus their efforts? New grads, tough. AI, like we go back to the augmentation, replacing. It's tough right now in the job market for L1, level one interns. I would say keep learning. You're never going to know it all. You just have to keep learning it all. Adapting. I've been in this industry over 30, years, and I've been through the cloud, the microservices, AI. Just have to keep evolving. Technology is amazing. I love technology. It's connecting people in unique ways, but technology is always changing. So just keep evolving along with the technology. All right, Diego, you got in here? We got another 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, so we have a new question from Jared. Thank you, Jared. What's on one commonly repeated claim about AI that you believe is overstated or misleading? I'll start with a very basic answer. It's the first part of our conversation about AI doing everything by itself and leaving us all in the street. That is not happening at all. The human in the loop is key, and it's AI is a tool with which we can augment our efficiency and our productivity, but it's not going to do stuff by itself anytime soon. Well, what do you say, Dave?
I agree. AI is not a magic layer. It's a tool. You need to take it by use case, adopt it carefully, have human in the loop, escalations. Try to do testing around it as much as you can, non-deterministics. Like with writing code with an agent, you can have unit tests, integration tests. That's non-deterministic testing. And then maybe LLM as a judge to test it with that to see how accurate you can get. Is it correct on what we're asking it to do behavior-wise? And then you have an escalation path of human in the loop. If it's an important decision, a human decision still needs to be there. Oh, I got one from Nico. He's, do you think we should expect a year with new stuff, tools, and technologies coming up, or should we expect a year of current technology becoming more mature and strong? I'll mention here, so Mythos models coming out with Anthropic. We're calling that the next gen model. Very capable. We're seeing it so capable that we want to start positioning prompt engineering to do less of describing how. Do more of the what and why in your prompting, and let the model figure out the how part. Because I'll tell you what, I've been an engineer. I love being in the code. I love elegant code. I would spend hours and hours at night trying to get it perfect. But what I'm seeing the models now is they're super capable. They know best practices. And more often than not, they're going to come out with a very unique solution to your problem. So less how and more what and why in your prompting, and you're going to get better results. So next gen models coming out, Mythos, maybe a month or two. OpenAI, Google, all the other big frontier models are going to come out with their next gen models this year.
Got it. And I think this one is maybe the last one. And it says, hello, what could be the next step for a developer in this AI era? Oh, I wish I know. What would you say, Dave?
AI assisted development is here. We're calling it agentic engineering. And I would say pop on your Anthropic. They got free learning. Look at Claude Code, how AI to do prompting, context engineering, agentic engineering. Again, play with the tools, keep learning, keep evolving. I would say AI assisted engineering is not going to go away. I use it daily to help scaffold, to discuss trade-offs, cost analysis, you name it. So engineering, it's helping me escalate and accelerate. It's not replacing me, folks. It's not replacing me.
Yeah, keep learning, keep it playful, and okay, we are out of time. So this is the end of our very first session. Huge thanks to Dave for his insights, and to all of you for joining the conversation today. We are just getting started with this, so please make sure you follow us on LinkedIn and stay updated. We have some future chats in the cooking, and thanks again for being part of the Copius Connects community. See you next time, and thanks a lot, Dave.
And yeah, for sure. Thanks, Diego. And to those that joined, this was a great conversation. Really enjoyed it. And hopefully this gives people a clear view of where AI is actually delivering value today versus just the noise around it. Thanks, folks.
Nice. Thanks, everyone.